Talk about some bright lights. Bright light. Look, I got a halo light today. Doesn't mean I'm divine. Just means I'm fine. What's up there? Yeah, I'm all right. I'm pretty good looking. Wait, I broke one of the rules on 3 points of advice from literary agents, which is what we're going to go today because what's up? I'm Thomas J. Bellezza, and welcome to The Right Mindset. Today, we're going to go over, well, in the last video for this particular series, we went over 3 points of advice straight from the mouth of literary agents that they suggested authors should take seriously. This video is part 2 of that list. A quick reminder, this is advice for fantasy writers, not nonfiction writers. Nonfiction has different rules associated with them, so it's not so much that. But let's do it. Let's get into 3 more points of advice from literary agents that they feel authors should take seriously. You know, they should be like, hey, these are things you should know. All right. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Boom, 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 boom. Hey. So, as always, you know, whenever I start these videos, my first thing that I need to get out is that I am thankful, grateful, and absolutely appreciative of your support watching these videos, elevating these videos, and even interacting with the videos. I truly hope that I am doing something to get your brain thinking to help you develop the right mindset. Now, remember, this is not the only way, it's just one way to develop the right mindset. And keep in mind, if you're new here, or like a beginner writer, or you're an advanced author, even a screenwriter, and you're trying to, what is it? It says, give a subscribe button a click. So click the subscribe button, tap some bell icons, and you're going to learn some lessons about your craft. We're going to analyze and review storytelling on this channel, as always, and we're going to get some interviews from fellow writers as we celebrate the industry and talk shop together. I do want to say, though, one of the things you'll notice is I upload videos way far in advance and set them to premiere. So you're more than welcome to click the reminder button on all the videos so you can get the little notification saying, hey, the premiere is coming up. And during every premiere, which is always on Tuesday, I am live with the audience watching the video, and you could ask me questions in real time, and we can interact. It'll be fun. It's always fun. That's all. All right, let's get into it. Okay. 3 points of advice from literary agents. Keep your synopsis short and to the point. The first of 3 points of advice from a literary agent is about your synopsis. You should keep your synopsis short and to the point. Literary agents want a glimpse into your story and an idea of the plot and characters, not a 5-page blow-by-blow account of each chapter and scene. That's what the novel itself is for, quote unquote. Okay? So, what is short and what is to the point? Well, I'll tell you right now. About 500 to 1,000 words, single-spaced, which ends up being about 1 to 2 pages. This is a starting point, and submissions sometimes come with rules. This will usually be under the company's submission guidelines. You should do your research and look for those things. Don't just send blank synopsises, all right? Don't just be like, yeah, this is a general one. I send it to everybody. Like some people, yeah. As a guide to the importance of a synopsis, think about what it's trying to accomplish for you. So here's some things you should keep in mind. You want to start this, again, this isn't the only way. This is just one way. This is kind of how I do it. This is the things that I did some extra research for, and these are things I worked out and wrote out into the lesson plan, just so you can kind of hear it more articulate. Okay, so One thing that you should keep in mind is start the synopsis with your protagonist. Describe their mindset and motivations in their ordinary world. Then explain what the inciting incident is. And of course, in this first section, you want to have their clear motives here. All right. When somebody's reading, when anyone's reading your synopsis, you want those three elements to be present right in the beginning. You want to know, you want them to understand what their mindset is, their motivations in their ordinary world is before the inciting incident, then what the inciting incident is, and of course, their what are their clear motivations, right? Now, moving forward, each paragraph moves the story forward, okay? So use each paragraph as something that is kind of ultimately being of use. It's not just rambling, right? So how do we not ramble? Well, ideally, letting the events unfold in the order they do in the manuscript. You don't have to trick the people reading the synopsis, right? You don't have to be like, try to sneak things in, or, let it just unfold naturally and be honest, and put in there what's necessary, right? Use powerful causing effects, storytelling, and any key scenes of your novel. Things to keep in mind: how the story conflict plays out, who or what drives the story conflict, and how the protagonist succeeds or fails in dealing with it. Okay? These are only a few things to think about. Of course, you should be doing your research into synopsises. And of course, look for a video on writing a synopsis on the Right Mindset YouTube channel. Is that here? Do we have one of those? I think we will. That's interesting. Trying to keep you on the channel. Trying to keep you watching some videos so you can help the channel get up there, right? All right. The point of this literary agent advice is summed up like this, okay? And look, let this be the thing that draws them in, not pushes them away. A full manuscript or a synopsis that is massive will push them away. Let a little say a lot to draw their interest in wanting to read your full manuscript. Now, as a marketing guy, obviously, if you do your research, I own BBR Productions, which is a consulting, marketing, and development production company. One of the things you have to think is vague but informative. That's marketing 101. Vague but informative. You want them to be just enough interested to need to ask questions. Why? Because interest in something, asking questions about something, having the desire to know more, develops an emotional relationship with a brand, or the inquisitive personality of your audience actually forces the relationship. So every time they make an emotional choice, or they ask a question, or they need to know more, they're actually developing a relationship with your brand. So think of the your publisher or potential publisher and or agent, even a manager that reads your synopsis. Let it be long enough to say what it needs to say, but short enough to still keep them wanting more. However, allow the verbiage, the copy within, to be vague but informative. The vagueness is that you don't have to give all of the details. The informative is that you're hitting those points, which is, ultimately, what is their motivations within their ordinary world? What's the inciting incident? Their clear motivations, and then allow the paragraphs to kind of like leak through what happens throughout the story. But again, you don't have to do every single little thing, right? And then keep in mind how the story conflict plays out, who or what drives the story's conflict, and how the protagonist succeeds or fails in dealing with that. Hope that helped. All right. Number 2, the second point of advice from literary agents for authors to take seriously is the blurb. Don't confuse a synopsis with a blurb. Quote unquote, a synopsis is an outline of the book's themes and plot. A blurb is written by the publisher to attract readers to the book. A blurb will feature words such as exhilarating and amazing. All right. One shouldn't find them in a synopsis. So what it's saying is, like, don't use the synopsis to be like a selling point. Don't use the synopsis to try to oversell with like crazy adjectives and this story will be exhilarating. Like, you're not saying that. You're just, a synopsis is literally bringing out what happens in the story, having motivations. You're not having a commentary on it. A blurb is usually an outline of it, and so I'm gonna explain that. So what is a blurb? A blurb is the short yet descriptive account of the book that goes on the back cover. That's right. It's the selling point. It's the, first you see the cover and you're like, "Ooh, those are pretty colors, and I like the image." And then you turn it around and you go, "Oh, okay, let me open the book." Right. So the blurb should include any information that represents the book best and intrigues the reader. This is ultimately your long-winded sales pitch. When someone reads the back of your book, will they open the cover up or put it back on the shelf? That's really a good question. See, your cover and the book's title will get them to pick the book up, at least in the beginning. A side note, once you have established name and have proven yourself, your name, not the book cover or title of the book, will get them to pick up the book or just simply buy it. This is your audience emotional connection. So if your audience sees Stephen King, they're just going to pick up the book and they're already interested. They might even just buy it just because they collect Stephen King books. Same thing with Brandon Sanderson and stuff like that, right? However, until you get to that point, this particular advice I'm giving you is for newer writers and authors trying to get things done. So once the book cover and title does its actual job and gets the reader to pick it up, or the audience to pick it up and look at it, it's now the blurb's job to get them to open the book. After that, it's the first line's job to say, "You want to read more of this, don't you? So buy it," right? And then after the first line, it's the first paragraph's job to get you started down the first page. And then, of course, it's the first page to make them to keep turning that book. Point is, have a strong, intriguing blurb. Can't write a good blurb, but you can write a 120,000 word book. Yeah, I know that it feels like. Oh, you know what you can do? Practice. Practice summing up books you have already read. That's right. Take books that you already read, books you didn't write, but books you read, and don't look at their summary. You just try to summarize it and then compare your summary to the summary that's on the book. So practice writing them out and sending them to people to see if they can tell you, A, what the book is about, B, would they read this book, and C, what book is it? So, in the beginning, take a book you already read, write your blurb for that book that would go on the back of that book. Then, when you're done and you feel confident with it, compare it to the back of the book. Now, if you like the comparison and you feel you did a good job, send that what you wrote to other people and allow them to tell you what book it is, what is the book about, would they read the book, and what book is it if they know. Okay, so don't make excuses, make progress. That's how we develop the right mindset, right? All right, number 3. I suck. I mean, wait. I did that in the beginning. Remember, I put down my looks. I'm all right. I'm good looking. Yeah. This is rule number 3. The third point of advice from literary agents for authors to really take seriously is avoid self-deprecation in a cover letter or anything. Quote unquote, as per literary agents, by all means, please avoid disastrous self-deprecation in a cover letter. I know. You won't have time for a lowly writer like me, quote unquote, within quotes. We want to work with writers who value their work and aren't embarrassed to say so. I give that a thumbs up. Why start something off with negativity? It's like when I used to work in the music industry, bands would literally give me a demo and be like, "Hey, this is just a demo. It's not our best songs. In fact, we're actually working on newer songs, and we got an album coming out soon." And you're like, "Well, why don't you wait until you give that to me then? If that's the thing you believe in. If you don't believe in yourself, and I don't mean with arrogance, I mean with confidence that you appreciate what it is you do. Because if you don't like what you do, how can I like what you do?" Because publishers' jobs are not to sell what they like. They're there to sell what can sell. Like, it's a business. They don't need to like it, though it helps if they do. But if you don't like it, they don't even want to look at it because you don't believe in it. So how can they believe in you? And why do I say that? Because publishers, agents, people in the industry are trying to build relationships with you. So they want people who believe in their talent because they might see your talent being confident, right? They might be like, oh, this person's confident in their talent. I'm not really into this particular book, but I like this person. So maybe there's something we could do. Hey, maybe keep me in touch for the next book. That's really what happens. So this advice goes across all forms of media. I can't tell you, you know, well, I already explained the band thing. They're just like, hey, here's my thing. It's just a demo. It's just a demo. We got an album coming out. Maybe. Well, go away. My mentor actually. This is the thing is like if you've already undersold yourself, like why would I be interested, right? And my mentor in the entertainment industry said, uh, you know, say the same things to me about people who do this. Uh, and it's like that's a very confusing sentence I just said. My mentors basically said, look, if you don't believe in yourself, how can we believe in yourself? And it's all about being confident, but not cocky or arrogant. Cocky. It's about believing it's about believing in the work you do. It's about loving what you do, right? It's about knowing you write what you love and care about what you love. It's about you being passionate for your stories. It's not about them being better than any story before them or even the stories you are going to write. It's not about it being worse than the story. I'm going to get better, or this is the best story and I'm just going to get even more awesome. It's not like that. It's just about believing in what you love writing. I love writing this stuff, these stories. I wrote this book. Be confident in that. It's not about you being the next greatest writer either. Don't think about being better than everyone else. There's a really great moment. There's a great line in I think it's called Miss Marvel, but anyway, she asks one of the religious figures, I'm paraphrasing, but how do you know you're good? And they said, being good is not a feeling. Being good is an action. So being the greatest writer is not an idea. Being the greatest writer is doing. So if you write your truth and you write the stuff that you believe in and you can get your voice out there, you are the greatest writer for you, and your audience will see you as the greatest writer. Doesn't matter if you are the greatest writer. You have to be the greatest writer. Write confidently. The simple truth is you want them to see that you believe in, you want them to see that you believe you would buy this book too, and not because you wrote it. Confidence is, I wrote this book. I would love to give you the manuscript to look it over. Or I love this book. I would be honored for you to read the synopsis. I saw that you represent blank, blank, and blank, and this story is particularly in my voice, but it is in the vein of this, this, and this. That's a verbal confirmation of confidence and send it. Oh, they might grab the book and they go, you know what? Let me have the synopsis. So you hand them a synopsis. You go, here you go. I would love to hear your thoughts. I'll give you some time to read it. We can reconvene in 2 weeks. They might say, you know what, 2 weeks is a little early for me. I'm pretty busy. Let me get back to you. And you go, great. That works for me. Boom. Done. It's all about being confident, not cocky. Not, this is the best. This synopsis is going to blow your mind. This story is so awesome. Don't do that. Be true. Be you. But be confident in what you do, not necessarily trying to disprove the world around you. Okay? Which brings me to my final thoughts on this subject. Woo, woo, woo. Like I said in the first video in this series, these are real things literary agents have said in interviews, on their social media pages, etc. This does not mean these are the be-all and end-all rules of how the industry works. There are cases of outcomes fueled by outside forces leading to amazing introductions. As I've said before, and I'll say it in the future, the majority of all my pitch meetings have come from a third-party introduction. This is a business, not a hobby. And to run your business successfully, you need to network, market, practice. Build and cultivate relationships to help establish a strong circle of influence. A circle of influence is not a group of people that can influence your career, they influence better habits. Marketing is all about designing a brand to build awareness that creates interest, which ultimately generates sales for audiences to buy into your brand's message emotionally. And of course, practice both your craft and the skills needed to understand your industry of choice so you can develop your strengths and weaknesses for when you get invited to the table. You know when to lead, follow, and advise. And of course, leading is not taking over, but taking initiative. Following is not blindly, but elevating the mission. And advising is not about you being right, it's about having options and opportunities for others to make choices. Just saying. So, great. That was exciting. I was pretty excited about that. I felt confident about that video. The conclusion of this is that next time we're going to go over more. So part 3, basically 3 more points of advice within this next series. So this particular series, the next video will be 3 more points of advice from literary agents for authors to take serious. Part 3. Part 3. Part 3? 3? I don't know. My question, though, is what was the best advice you ever got from a literary agent? Let me in the community know in the comments below. We love reading that kind of stuff. And of course, want to learn more about improving your craft, insight on the industry, and hearing from fellow authors? Hey, please subscribe and hit the bell icon so you don't miss out. And as always, keep developing the right mindset. I'll see you next time.